Tricia.
And this is Strong Female Lead.
Welcome.
Yay! Guess what we're bringing you this week? Guess.
This is a real movie, and I know that you like to define movies on the amount of time or minutes that make up the movie. Was this a movie?
This was. It made the requirement, which is, I believe, 88 minutes.
Is that a requirement?
Yeah, it's a real thing.
I didn't know that. I thought that was just your
I like
thing.
to pass a lot of things off as my own creation, and they're very much a Hollywood standard.
I thought it was very much like our rating scale. And I didn't realize. I thought there could be an hour-long movie.
60 minutes? No.
I mean, you know.
Like a TV movie.
Got it.
But to be released in a theater, I think there is a requirement that it be like, I think it might actually be 83 minutes. But.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
This is a movie.
But this is a movie.
This movie's called Us.
U.S.
Have you guys seen it?
Get it?
I know.
U.S.
Woo! I'm doing a thing with my hands because it's all coming together. I know.
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay, so we're doing a movie on Us. There are some badass female leads in this. Most notably, Lupita Nyong'o. Is that how you say it?
I'm not African, so I don't know, but I'm going to go with your interpretation.
Yeah. And I'd rather just call her Lupita from now on in case I'm saying it wrong the entire time.
One of those people who can go by a mononym and everyone would be okay with it. Because she's like both African and Mexican.
I know.
And her accent game was on point.
And honestly, she's one of the most beautiful women I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, her skin is.
Oh my God. And her jawline. What is up with that jaw? It's beautiful.
You really like jawlines.
I love jawlines. I like a strong jaw.
Jennifer Garner.
Love a strong jaw in a woman. Oh, did I talk about it? Keira Knightley has a strong jaw game too. Guys, I had surgery to give myself a chin. Of course I'm obsessed with jawlines. I wish mine was much sharper.
Okay, so the plot begins 1986. Young Adelaide Thompson, played by Lupita. Adelaide Thomas goes on vacation with her parents in Santa Cruz. At the beach, Adelaide wanders off into a fun house where she encounters a doppelganger of herself in a hall of mirrors. Adelaide is later reunited with her parents, although unable to speak. So,
well,
this is when I figured out the whole movie. So I was like, okay, well, Jordan really laid it on thick. But I was like, at this point, I was like, okay, so that's not her.
Okay, so you knew right away that it wasn't her in a mirror.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I thought maybe it was a ghost of Christmas past or something at first. I wasn't sure, like, if this was an actual human or if a human of some sort or like a living being or some sort of vision or spirit. I didn't know that right away.
I think I assumed that because I did know that going into this was about doppelgangers. So I did assume that she was a real person. Not a spirit.
It was about doppelgangers, and I don't know. I for the first time ever did not look anything up about this movie before going. I had no clue if that was a real person or not.
That I did know, but mostly because people forced me to watch the trailer. I didn't want to watch the trailer. I didn't want to see this movie, to be honest, because I thought it was going to be really scary.
And because of your life as a doppelganger.
I am not a doppelganger.
A twin doppelganger. You guys are doppelgangers of each other. You're not just Tessa. Oh, wait, because you guys, I keep forgetting, you're not identical.
We're not identical.
And I am so sorry, because even when I was saying, even though I know you have a fraternal twin, I was so stuck on doing this movie because of the twin thing. And I kept putting in my head that you're identical.
I mean, the tether is a real thing.
Yeah.
We are tethered together.
Yeah.
Throughout life. But I assume it's like a similar to any sibling relationship. Well, actually, maybe it's a shorter tether than any other type of sibling relationship. Because, like,
totally, you're the exact same age almost.
Not almost.
Well, minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, technically minutes. Yeah.
So, almost.
Oh, that's accurate.
That's close. And I know twins are really stuck on that minute thing. Like, don't they all? I mean, twins I know are like, I'm 3 minutes older than her.
I don't know why that's been a point of pride. That's like an identical twin thing.
Okay.
I'd like to just take this moment to talk about twins in Hollywood and how creepy and not twins, identical twins they are. Like Mary-Kate and Ashley and Tia and Tamara are not identical sets of twins.
They're fraternal.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It really bothers me. Because
but when you're
growing
younger,
up, always to be compared to them,
alike.
and the people would act as though they couldn't tell us apart. Me and my sister look nothing alike. Like, if you told me that one of us wasn't really my parents' kid, it would be me.
Do you have any more about twins in Hollywood or do you want to?
No, I just always loved to take down Tia and Tamara and the Olsens and all the other twins. When I was a kid, I just thought everyone had a twin. And so the idea of like how many lonely people there are in the world really makes me sad.
Yeah.
They're called singletons. I have a friend and she has twins, and her and her husband are funny. They're like, we feel bad for singletons because they don't have a little buddy.
I know.
But it's all they know as parents. You know, they have two kids that can entertain each other.
Mm-hmm.
Singleton.
Oh God, should we go to the movie?
Yeah, I guess, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Have a good time.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah, but okay, so we're still at the very opening scene.
So after that first scene, then we jump to present day. So Adelaide and her husband Gabe and their kids Zora and Jason are going back to Santa Cruz, which is where this situation occurred with the doppelganger, with this other human or spirit, or we don't really know what it is. They're in the car and they're on their way to a beach house, and I'm wondering if this is like her family's old beach house or they have one their own. I don't know, but they're going to Santa Cruz and she seems like a little on edge, and I'm sort of like, why are you agreeing to go?
Yeah.
Why are you guys still going
this
there?
was like a house that I didn't think it was a family house because she didn't seem to be that affluent in her beginnings.
I thought that it was though, because I think there was a photo of her when she was looking at her as a dancer, and then there was a ballet bar in one of the rooms.
Oh.
So she was like,
catch.
before the other family came, she was, I think maybe looking for one of her kids or something. She was like having a flashback, and I think she was looking at a photo. And that was a cool house.
Yeah.
So they go and we're introduced to the characters. The husband providing a lot of the comic relief. How'd you feel about his character?
I freaking loved this character.
I thought he was so funny.
I appreciated this character.
I'm gonna eat something over here. Sorry.
Those are the sound of Reese's Pieces.
Yeah.
This episode of Strong Kenobi is brought to you by Reese's Pieces. How do you say it? I loved Jordan Peele for writing this character the way that he wrote it. I thought Winston Duke did a fantastic job of playing it. I love this dopey black dad. It's like, we don't get this character much. I really just appreciated seeing like
The family man.
yeah,
kind of,
this like dopey, just like not cool and not super strong and not like so machismo. It's the opposite of the black man that you typically see in
The stereotype.
every movie.
It really did break the stereotype big time.
Yeah, and I love that he was injured for most of the movie. I thought that was fantastic. That he couldn't, even if he wanted to like override like Red's and Adelaide's journey through this movie. And I just freaking loved it. I thought that everyone did such a great job. Winston Duke, so beautiful.
Oh, he's cute. He's definitely cute.
So beautiful and so British and
Oh, he's British. Now he's hot.
in real life.
What does that do? I don't know why that happens, but it just happened like while I'm speaking to you. He was cute. Now he's hot.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought he was a great character too, and we're introduced to Zora and Jason, and they have the, you know, the little banter back and forth like siblings do, and then they have the couple, the Tylers. They're friends, and I don't really remember the husband's name or
Tim Heidecker.
Okay.
So funny.
Okay. Yes, I didn't love him.
What? I thought he was hilarious.
I loved Kitty though, Elizabeth Moss.
I thought Elizabeth Moss to me is just
Tessa,
a
it's vodka o'clock.
I mean, she's a phenomenal actress, but I was like, that character, I've seen her 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I understood why she was there, but I was like,
Yeah.
Tim Heidecker, I thought he like had some
God,
funny
he just
moments.
annoyed me.
Yeah.
Like I don't like that. He annoyed
the same
me.
way that like Elizabeth Moss annoyed me. I
Oh,
was like,
funny. Yeah, because I was like, seen it. God, the annoying, like not paying attention, being
same,
annoying.
it's like drunk white lady.
I'm thinking like annoying white dude.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so
Accurate.
that's great. So they were perfect together. And they all hang out at the beach, and Gabe, Adelaide's husband, has a boat. He's very excited about this boat. It becomes important later, but it ends up being a very good purchase.
Yeah.
But at the time, I do love how much they're making fun of him because he really doesn't know what he's doing with it, and I just love it.
Yeah. And I love like that in the juxtaposition, like when he tells Tim Heidecker's character about the boat, and then he tells him about the Range Rover, and I was like, oh, I love this. I loved this.
Oh, like the one-upping.
Like he's one-upping him. Like you're close, but you're not quite. And I think that
that?
See
What's
what
the
you're doing
phrase
here,
for that?
Jordan?
Keeping up with the
Joneses.
Joneses. I almost said keeping up with the Benjamins, but that's
Still accurate.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Well, so two important things that I noticed during that beach scene, and I guess I'll bring up one of them later, because even though this whole thing is going to be a spoiler, it'll make more sense if I bring it up later. But the one I will bring up is the son, Jason, just, he wanders off and he gets a little bit close to the fun house. What we see is the fun house. Now it's named something different, and it's the same fun house that Adelaide got lost in back in 1986. But he sees a random man in a red jumpsuit, just alone with blood dripping from his fingers. And he thinks, I'm just going to keep that to myself. Now, as an adult, I wouldn't be able to keep that to myself. As a 36-year-old, definitely not as a child. Would you have told someone? I would have said something.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. The younger version of myself, like the current version of myself, isn't that observant. So unless he was bleeding a lot, I wouldn't have been like, oh, look, that man is bleeding. He seems to just be doing some Tai Chi, being a weird white guy on the beach. I don't know.
You saw that he was bleeding.
Oh.
And you saw what Jason saw. Would you have told someone, even just your sister? Maybe not.
Maybe not. I also had a terrible memory. So unless I don't think so. I don't think this would have stuck out for me.
Okay, so they hang out, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And then we jump to night.
Yeah.
Right? Later that night, and this is when shit starts to happen. And we know, obviously, that's going to start. Because it's the night. We know something is going to happen because Lupita has been kind of on edge. She sort of feels like something's going on. She's not sure. There's little things like 11:11 pops up.
Jeremiah 11:11.
Jeremiah 11:11 quote, which has to do with just destroying the humankind and not helping them. Right?
What?
Is that what God said?
That's similar to what God said. Okay. The Jeremiah 11:11 is, wait, let me look it up really quick.
There's some more details.
Yeah, it's something about how you're gonna look for me and I won't be here.
Yes.
Because
and false idols.
Yeah,
you'll be worshiping
false idols.
Okay.
Which is money and the society as it is now. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's therefore thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape, and though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them. King James Version. So
Perfect.
that's why all the hearketh and shit was in there. Sorry.
So you're gonna look for me. You're not gonna find me.
Yeah.
Die.
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But in this case, yes.
Some of us will not make it.
So, shit. What'd you think about when
show up when the family, the Red family shows up?
When they're just outside, I was petrified when you couldn't tell who they were, their sizes. Then one of them is a human but runs like a dog. I mean, that is when I actually did. I shrieked, and it was loud. It was happening.
That part to me wasn't scary. When you just see the dark figures of them.
This was scary.
No, because they're not doing anything.
But they're just there. That's horrifying.
They're also not doing anything.
You know they're going to. But you don't know what or when.
I mean, for the purposes of this movie, yes, you know that something is an action will follow this, but
you've got to.
I don't think a shadowy figure is necessarily scary unless it's coming towards me.
Okay, so you are at a house of yours that you have on the beach. There's not a lot of people, or it's a close community. Everyone kind of knows each other, blah, 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 blah. You see 4 figures, 2 that should probably be in bed.
Well, that was more reason to not be that afraid. Because I'm who's out stalking and killing folk along with the kids? Who does that?
You wouldn't be scared. You wouldn't think, what are these people going to do at the end of my driveway?
I wouldn't think, they might be murderers. I'd be like, okay, their car broke down. It's a family of 4. It's not as though if it was 4, people I thought were 4 men, I'd be and I was the only one home, I'd be I'm probably not going to open the door for this, and I'm going to make sure that my phone is in my hand.
But if they're not responding, and you're calling out to them.
They speak another language.
And they're just not, there's no effort on their part to come towards you in a nice way.
How is a nice way to approach when someone's yelling at you? think I would have immediately gone to like fear these people. I'd be like, okay, their car broke down, something's happening. I probably wouldn't let them in my house. I wouldn't like go to the door, but I'd be like, if you need help, just, you know, let me call the police for you. Do you need a
I would have
truck?
pooped myself. I would have been very, very frightened.
That's so interesting that the assumption is fear.
Well, always.
Why?
I mean, fear is my constant companion. I think that, yeah, for sure. You were not scared, that's fine. But
Just in that moment, they were doing, when they like scatter and then, I hate the way they moved in this movie. That shit creeps me out.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way that the youngest one moved, and I'm like,
I know. It was uncomfortable. So eventually they get in. And the unfortunate realization is not only that these people are in here and they have ill intentions towards us, but they look just like us. What the fuck? So this happens. Red is leading the pack, and
Red's voice. Lupita took some shit for doing this voice, but
okay, so she did. I thought it was people were a little rough on her. What'd you think about?
I agree. I mean, I wish she hadn't said anything about how she came, her process in coming up with that voice, but so I'm like, okay.
Do you want to fill us in on that?
I don't remember the name of the
I have
voice
it somewhere.
disorder.
I have it somewhere.
It is a real disorder, so she was like imitating someone's disability.
Red's voice was inspired by a condition called spasmodic dysphonia, and it's a condition caused by trauma.
Yeah.
So a vocal condition caused by trauma.
So I thought that the reason she sounded like that was because she knew how to talk from her 5 years on Earth, and then she went underground and never spoke to anyone because no one underground had any language skills. So I thought that it was so out of practice after 30 years.
That is why she sounds like that, but people were offended by the use of this real disability.
Yeah.
And if she would have never said that that's where she got this from, it would have been fine.
Yeah, I mean, she
Because
sounded
we would've
like
accepted it
she
as part
sounded
of the
like
plot.
Lord Voldemort, and that was my problem.
I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
I thought the use of that voice for this character, I thought it was like fucking spot on.
I thought it kind of killed it for me.
Did it?
Yeah, I stopped being afraid. Like, I was scared shitless when the family was standing outside.
God,
And then,
this just scared me even more.
and
I didn't find her voice to be like scary. I thought it was more interesting. Like, how is she doing that? Like, like how are your like?
Oh my God.
Like, what kind of vocal practices did she have to undergo to do both an American accent and that?
yeah, right?
Yeah, and her American accent was great. Yeah,
I mean, and what you said, Hillary, which I thought was fascinating, is looking back at this. Yeah, she used the description or she said this is the disability that she based it off of. But if we really think about it, Adelaide could have suffered from that due to her trauma. So Adelaide, who was living underground, could have actually developed that condition.
well, I think that's vocal trauma. Like a
No,
neck
it's
injury.
emotional or
What?
physical trauma. Yeah.
Emotional trauma. Interesting.
Potentially. So that's just what I read. I mean,
Yeah.
we could look, and it was also based on Lupita's interview, and that's what she said. So who knows? She seems very, very intelligent, but maybe we could look up the medical definition. But if it is caused by emotional trauma, I thought that was even more interesting, is because that could be a part of exactly her not being able to speak because other people aren't talking in the underground, but then also her having that sort of condition. And then when I thought about it, when I was thinking about it this morning and taking some notes, I was like, mind blown. That would be really fascinating, and that could be their argument for it. Well, shit. Okay, so Red is laying down the motherfucking law.
Yeah, this is.
So tell us what happens.
Yeah. So the family is separated, but with their doppelganger. Well, first Red kind of gives like, there's so much happening. I'm gonna talk about the scene moving from left to right from how I saw it. So starting with the fathers. So the fathers, like that was the first like interaction, which I was like, this is everything I want. This is the movie that I think black people especially have been asking for. I just love that this movie is just like the fact that this is a black family isn't really a topic of discussion at all ever, and I loved that. It's just a family.
Yes.
But the dads, I was like, and that's when we see the first instance of the ties between the dads, or what is it called? Not ties, the tethering. So the dad, the double dad.
Love that. Here for it.
Yeah. The double dad is like doing something with his eyes he can't see, and the real dad dad, Winston dad,
Has glasses.
Daddy Win, has glasses. And he's wearing this Howard shirt. And he's like trying to get them to tell him what he wants. Or what they want. And he's like offering them things. Do you want money? Do you want blah, blah, blah? And like just not phasing them that is something that they want. And then I did a little reading on his character, and it was supposed to be because somebody of privilege, as he is in this movie, Winston's character, assumes that what we want and what will level the playing field between me and somebody of a lesser status is to give them my things. What you want are the same things I have. And I was like, oh my god, Jordan.
Oh,
really late at this movie.
Dude,
Really?
If we even need to, I mean, the themes, which I'm sure we'll cover just like sprinkled throughout, but we can get into them later. I mean, the classism and the theme of classism in this. And, I mean, it was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just another reason I didn't want to see this movie.
That's a big part of it.
This was another reason I didn't want to see this movie. Because Get Out was very much for white people. And I felt like I saw it once and I was like, get it, this wasn't a movie talking to me. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. I get why people like it. It's talking to white people in a way that like is very consumable.
About race.
About race. And I was like, well, this isn't about race. This part of the conversation is for everyone. And it is especially pointed at like people of color when you look at the character of Adelaide, who leaves her, who finally levels up and is in this above world, and then totally forgets or willfully forgets that this other universe exists and that these atrocities are happening to the people where she came from.
Interesting.
And I'm like, oh fuck, I get it, Jordan. I see you.
Turning
Ugh.
I mean, so he wrote, directed, and produced this, which seems like that had to happen in order to have pretty much an all-black cast in a horror flick. And he was interviewed saying something like, you know, if someone had asked him to make, you know, a horror movie about a white family or something, he would have 100% said no. He's seen that 1,000 times. And I loved this being a story about a black family, and it, even though it covered, there was more of a like classism issue than, and race is also looked at, but it was more class than Get Out, which was race. But the fact that they were black wasn't even brought up as like a funny ha-ha nod, like we know that we're an all-black cast in a horror movie, and this is kind of the first of its kind that has done really well. I love, it's like all the female leads we talk about, where it's a situation that they're in and it just is the situation. It's just someone who got pregnant making the decision about having an abortion. It's a transgender sex worker, and that's just who they are. And that's what I like about that too, because that's the only way, in my opinion, to really like infiltrate things and to change things is first there's the haha, look at us, this is what we're doing, and then the next step is this just is. This is a story, this is a person's story. Then it becomes the norm. I love that. I love him for being a part of that.
Yeah.
Love it.
I love him, and I love the treatment of race in this, and I love how the white family is actually kind of the supporting family, which is also not questioned. That's right. So we did Double Dad and Winston Dad. And the next is the runner daughter. She was scary. So the runner daughter and then her, like, double daughter.
Yeah,
the double daughter.
Umbra, I think was her name.
Umbra.
Which we never really hear, but I read.
Yeah, because I don't think any of the double people besides
And
Red
Pluto.
speak.
Yeah. I don't know if we really find out their names. Yeah, in the movie.
Yeah, I don't think they... Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they don't have...
Yeah, because they don't really call each other by their names, because Red's just like, and like people do things.
Yeah, I was kind of impressed that Red was able to learn that language, because that means something.
I know.
Yeah, the clicking, and I'm like, that was terrifying.
Oh god. Okay, so Red, then, she basically tells a little bit of the story. We don't get the whole story of the tethered and the underground, but what we do get is the idea of a shadow twin, and that she has been living this life, and she was forced to live the life underground while her twin lived this life of privilege and a fairy tale, etc. And it was sort of childlike, which was kind of interesting because everything changed for both of them when they were children. So I thought that was kind of...
And I thought like the story that Red gives about like how she didn't get to choose her husband. She just got
the generic version double dad.
Yeah, she
of
got
the
double
cool
dad.
game.
It was horrible, and like the horrible, and like that she didn't like choose to birth her kid. Like you know they're like terrors, and like though she still seems to love them, or at least like look out for them,
right?
But or have affection towards them.
But I think some of that love and that kind of
obligation.
Yes.
What?
I think that some of it is that, but I also think some of that is because she wasn't originally a tethered. Red is Adelaide. So I think she gave birth to them, but I think she still has that human aspect. She wasn't like created in the way that the tethered, at least we learn later that they were created by the government. So sometimes I wonder if that like back and forth and that weird like emotion sometimes we see on the side of, I don't know, it just kind of like, it starts to get a little blurry for me, and I think sometimes it's because of the role that they're in.
That was one of the things I didn't understand, because it should be, since we do find out in the end that Adelaide is the original
let's just say
Adelaide.
it, guys. I mean, because we've been talking around it and sort of, and then I didn't want to do a spoiler. Adelaide is red.
Adelaide is red, which, come on.
Duh. Although I did find that out at the end.
Really?
Because I did.
Well, I just love that. I mean, I love that when, like, I try not to do that, like, to try to figure it out before the movie, because it does just spoil the end. There's no winning, but I just loved it also, like, in my head to be right.
I didn't know it until we were supposed to know it.
Yeah,
like,
I love
really
that.
and truly. It was so much fun. Yeah.
But that was one thing that really puzzled me after you get the confirmation that Red is Adelaide, because Adelaide, even though she's in the tethered place, should be able to control the one who's upstairs.
So I think what I got is that she loses that ability then. Like, so whatever she then, and it does, plot holes, right? Because like, it's sort of like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense, but what I'm guessing is that she lost her ability to control and it switched. And so she was living the life of Adelaide, which then makes that whole story that she's telling the family even more heartbreaking, is because like that was supposed to be her story and then she didn't get any choice. So then Red is living, so, you know, switch, blah, blah, blah. Then she's living this life that she like didn't want to live. And I think that, and now I'm losing myself, but I think when I really thought that they couldn't control Adelaide in the underground. So I'll call her Red when she's above ground. So Adelaide in the underground, when I really realized that she couldn't control things and she was fully being controlled by Adelaide in the above ground, or at least looking back I realized, is the dancing. Is when they're dancing and the above ground one is in a ballet performance.
Because she shouldn't know anything that the original doesn't know. And that's where I thought, that's how I knew it wasn't her.
I didn't think she knew it. I think she was just being...
Well, I think
underground was being forced to perform a ballet that like she couldn't do in the real world anymore, and that seemed very sad to me.
Now I'm confused.
Because she was a dancer originally.
She wasn't.
Oh, right.
That's Red, pretending to be Adelaide. And that's why I was confused, because how can Adelaide, the fake Adelaide, which is like red up top, control Adelaide?
Isn't it just, if you're above ground,
I think
below?
I think it's as simple as the above ground, below, and the powers above ground versus below. Yeah.
Oh, but like, I don't know. I guess maybe she stayed in that same town her whole life. Because it seemed like they were coming from somewhere back to Santa Cruz. And I was like, maybe and wouldn't she somehow know?
So she's telling the story, and then this is when it's on, and the horror movie part starts where everyone is trying to kill everyone. And this goes on.
Yeah, everyone's trying to kill the doppel others are trying to kill the originals.
And the originals are trying to kill or run away.
Yeah, they're originally just trying to run away. They're just trying to get away from the doppel others. And then it turns to murder, and the murder, the savagery just keeps increasing. And I'm like, this is where it got disturbing to me. And I was like, this is what took me out of it being scary. I was like, this is crossed a line into disturbing.
What, the type of killing or the...
Yeah, the way that the frenzied killing that he had them.
I loved it.
I mean, I hated it because it seemed too real.
That's why it was scary. That's why I loved it. Yeah.
Well, I'm like, if it's real, then I'm like, oh, well, then we have a different problem. We have a different set of problems. Just like the nature, like when the original daughter Zora kills one of the doppel twins. Mm-hmm. She's just like kind of like shaking it off, like, oh, that was like kill one, like it's a video game. And I was like, I don't like this. This is uncomfortable to me. Like, this is like, we're no longer seeing them as human, even if they're doppel others, they're alive. And we're stopped seeing them as alive, and we're just allowing her to like ruthlessly kill these doppel others, and I'm like, they don't know what they're doing. They're only trying to like survive, and I was like, and I didn't like that. I was like, I didn't like that at all.
My reaction was totally different. I was like, I get it. They're trying to kill you. You are trying to survive.
They're acting off of instinct.
But they don't. I mean, they're not putting together. Listen, they just meet these people that look exactly like them, who seem sort of like primal and animalistic, and like are trying to kill them and don't seem like real humans. It's like an apocalypse kind of situation. They're just trying to save themselves. I get it. I was cheering when she did that little shake off. I was like, you get him, girl. SFL. Even though she was top billed. I mean, she's not. She's not.
But I mean, you can still give her.
Yeah. I thought
she meets the. Well, she's.
I guess.
Does she have an agency? Okay. She doesn't insist on driving, but.
She does insist on driving.
Yeah.
So that's funny. So I saw it differently. I was like, they just need to survive, and they should try and kill them, and like you would an invader in your home, and you would get off by the law. Yeah, for sure.
That's horrible. Okay. And I think that's what he was doing.
Would you let them just kill you?
Yeah.
You'd just be like, I'll take it?
I wouldn't let them kill me, but I'm like, I think to cheer that behavior is strange.
But it's a horror movie. We're supposed to cheer when people are trying to kill
the things
that are killing
social
them.
commentary. It's not like a slasher movie where you're just like, oh no, it's the only point of this is just to make it to the end. Like, going into this is a Jordan Peele movie. We're being taught something, or something is being exposed to us. And like, what you're saying is like,
that is kind of fascinating, because I think
this isn't like a Stephen King movie where you're just like, there's something in the basement, gotta kill it, or like, I mean, this is about society and about like our like inner beast.
You could be right. Maybe he was hoping that we would cheer, and that was going to teach us something about ourselves. And it didn't teach me anything about myself.
Just like, I don't know. I feel like that made me feel like queasy, and I'm like, yeah, I'm happy she didn't die. The savagery of which everyone is murdering everyone.
Well, shit, I don't know.
So were you a fan of the fact that the real dad, was not afraid of them, and he did want to see what they needed, and did want to, not just, I know you didn't like that he was trying to offer things to get on the same level, but his first instinct wasn't, these are bad people. He was like, these are people.
Yeah.
Did you?
I agreed with him.
Yeah, so you
I was like, until there's a threat, they are just people. I don't care what you, I mean, unless you're a threat to my life and to my family, which they became, you're just people looking for something.
I think I thought, before I watched this movie, that it was more supernatural than...
Yeah, I think I thought that
like,
too.
I was like, I thought it was almost actually more Stephen King-y.
Yeah.
I thought that they were more alien than, like, they just physically lived below.
Yeah. Well, I also think, like, if it was a complete, like, if we didn't get to meet Red, then I would have a totally different view of this movie. I was like, oh, it's doppel people, they're just trying to take your life, steal all your shit, kill them all. You know, like an invasion, like an alien other invasion. But these are like destitute people who are like...
But here's the thing, I think we're forgetting that we don't know if these are real people. I mean, it's, at least the things that I've read said that these people, doppelgangers, whatever they are, were created by the government. Yeah. So isn't this could be like more of a Westworld kind of thing. How do we know these are people with legitimate emotions?
Would you call a baby that was conceived through like artificial insemination, or like through scientific means, not the same?
Artificial insemination? No.
Or like that was created, you know, like when...
So they're doing like designer babies. So like you take a baby and you take all the features that you want, so they can have, you know, perfect everything,
like
hair, height.
You know, you really want a baby girl.
But once I mean, it grows into a person.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly. I'd say when it's born.
You know, about 9 months.
But I mean, that doesn't, just because they were scientifically created,
doesn't make them not human.
I guess I don't know. I don't know what's in them. Are they created and they're like created the way you guys are saying, or are they almost like a type of machinery? I don't know the answer to that question.
I don't think that there's some type of machinery, unless they're
like
extremely advanced AI, because their behavior with the white family when the doppel others murder the white family, their behaviors when they become the guy puts on the robe and becomes that funny guy who's like, he wants to be him. Like, that's the creepy part when she's putting on that lip gloss.
Yeah.
She doesn't just want to, eliminate this person. She wants to become her.
I get that.
I mean, there's obviously no right answer. I mean, obviously nobody wants masses of people to be murdered on either side.
I don't know. I want him to Oh my god.
That little kid's burned face. Even though he was evil, I'm like, but maybe you wouldn't be evil if your face wasn't burned off.
I know. Pluto, so this is important. So as they're all, kill or be killed, there is a moment where Jason then realizes that Pluto mirrors his, like, actions and stuff, and that becomes important later. But he locks him in the closet, and then Red, like, that's how Jason gets away from Pluto, and then Red hears Pluto's scream-ish howling.
Yeah, which is like an infant's cry.
Which it's like guttural. Their talking is very guttural and like primitive sounding, and that made it all the more like sad and horrifying, I thought. And then Red goes up to help him, and then the whole family escapes on the boat.
Yeah, and the dad realizes that they're the tether too, because he like fakes like he's like headbutting something, and then his doppelganger,
and that's how he gets
does that too.
And then the Tylers, that whole murder scene was intense.
But I'm also like how efficiently that family murdered.
The doppelgangers murdered them?
That was like strikingly different than the other family.
And I wondered if that was just because we needed them gone kind of quickly, because it did seem like it was just too easy. I was like, damn, you guys just got them. Like, I mean, done,
and
dead.
I don't think
Elizabeth Moss was probably kind of drunk. I mean, you're an easy target if you're inebriated.
It was a very big house.
She was drunk. So the Tylers, dead.
They're done.
Dead. I liked Elizabeth Moss's scene when she was, I can always watch a lady put on lipstick in front of the mirror and be super evil.
Crazy.
And she just seems to be practicing like emotions and
be
stuff.
A lady or a woman of a certain class.
Yeah, a woman of means.
Laughing at a joke.
Well, we realize they flip on the news and they're like, oh shit.
This isn't an isolated incident.
This is not an isolated incident.
I felt less bad for them when that happened. I was like, this poor family, this sucks. This is terrible. They're just trying to enjoy vacation, and these people kind of really fucked it up for them. And then when I realized it was happening to everyone, I was like, okay, at least don't feel so singled out.
It's not just you guys.
Yeah, and no one's going to think that you're making it up.
So then the Wilsons arrive at the boardwalk, and they see their abandoned wagon on fire, and it's a trap set by Pluto, Doppelboy. And he is the Doppelboy. Oh my god, be a superhero. Doppelboy and his mask is really getting to me, and it's horrifying. And he sets it up.
I felt the worst for it.
He sets it up so their car, so like he, has the gasoline so that he's gonna light a match so that the Wilsons actually end up dying and their car blows up. But then, Jason, without anyone even knowing, just starts like walking backwards because he knows that Doppelboy will do exactly what he's doing, and he kills Doppelboy, and that was the most sadness I saw out of Red/Adelaide. And then I was like, what the fuck? Like, another one dies, you guys gotta get a move on. But I'm getting it now. She's seeing, even if it's subconsciously, like, it's more than just, this is someone who looks like my boy. There's something connecting them that she hasn't quite figured out.
Is this not my child? Like, is like, I could see her heart breaking, and then like Jason/Pluto's character, I think, was like the most disturbing one, and I love how they protected him up until the very end from killing anything, because like he should have been redeemable. He should have been redeemable.
He was such a baby.
Yeah, and he's the only one who figures out that Red is Adelaide and that they've switched, because he sees her without a mask, and it's very symbolic that he's the only one wearing one to protect himself from what he's seeing. And I'm like, oh my god, nobody's looking at him. Don't die, and then he's kidnapped.
Adelaide is like, all right, I gotta go to the fun house. This has something to do with the fun house. She goes, and we finally see what the fuck is going on with all these fucking bunny rabbits. So then they fight, and they have like their incredible fight scene. I just, masterful.
Whoever did this fight sequence.
And just them looking alike, but not the same, and fighting each other, and the dancing. It was gorgeous. I thought the story about the tethered being created by the U.S. government in an attempt to control the public, and then it was a failed experiment, and then they were just abandoned for generations, and all they do is run around in circles now, mimicking what their counterparts up top are doing, and that was probably one of the more disturbing scenes. Blood and gore, all that stuff, doesn't get me. It's those people running around in circles, just doing
like
nothing.
An insane asylum, like the ones that you would see like from like, black and white videos from way back when. That was very disturbing.
That was horrifying.
Yeah, to like take one step outside of this movie and be like, oh wait, what's he trying to say right now? Oh yeah, those kids. Make them iPhones. Literally, like, making it possible for me to live the way that I live.
So that's what you thought that was saying to us?
Yeah.
Interesting. So when they fight, though, like, and I didn't really realize this until I saw Jason in the car, that he saw the whole fight thing sitting in the locker, and he was able to see it, and, like, shut in the locker, and he's able to see through the slits. And then he sees his mom as he knows her, and her movements started like shifting when she was down there and kind of like acting more like Red. And I think even her voice or her scream mimicked what they were like in the underground. So I was like, damn, so that's how he fucking knows. What do you do with that kind of information as a kid? Because we find out that he kind of knows almost before she does, because she's coming to the realization in the car. So she saves him, kills Red, blah, blah, blah. They go back up. I mean, they have way more, maybe they're not going to be chased by their own doppelgangers, but the doppelgangers are there. So we know that there's a huge protest going on and the violence hasn't necessarily stopped. Mm-hmm. So we're left with that. But then we see Adelaide/Red in the car kind of coming to the realization that she is the person from the underground, and we know that her son then knows it before she did, and there was just this moment, and I'm like, another big secret this boy's gonna have to keep. Holy shit! Wow. What do you do with that?
I mean,
it's the only mom who's ever known.
I felt the worst for Jason throughout this whole movie, and again, I felt the worst for Jason throughout the whole movie. Because I do wonder if Jason was supposed to be Jordan, and I understood this, again, the symbolism of what he was trying to show us is that what your parents are handing you are the keys to a broken kingdom.
Wait, hold on, Jason was supposed to be Jordan?
I don't know, I wondered that, if like, in, like, because a lot of writer directors write themselves, or like at least themselves as children,
holy shit,
into the movie, and I was like, I wonder if that was his interpretation of like as you grow up, you inherit a broken kingdom, and you have to like rectify the shitty things that your parents and your government upheld, and that you are supposed to take your place. And that's what he's doing. He's learning to take his place.
We basically get passed down shit, and then we just do stupid shit. And then we try not to do stupid shit. And then we try to make it a little better, like almost like thinning out the whatever the I don't want to say the bloodline, but just making like a little less crazy. Like, just like maybe we could dilute it a little bit for the next generation. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think, like, I don't know, what I was getting from the ending with the Hands Across America was more of, like, not like a inherited cycle, like an inherited trauma, or like what Baptists would call a generational curse, is more a societal problem. And that we can't keep moving in the way that we're moving.
Yes.
And acting the way that we're acting. And pretending as though we don't see what is making it possible for us to act and live the way that we do.
Totally. I think this was a societal commentary. But I was just thinking it just reminds me of, like, you kind of hand the keys to your own familial broken kingdom to your kids. But this was full society. You're fucked. Figure it out, guys. Can't you see? Like that kind of thing.
But yeah, it's just like between the kids, like how quickly the older daughter, like I don't know, it showed those traits of like the first kill, like kind of being hard. The rest of them are just like, this is what we're doing. I'm indoctrinated. This is what we do. This is the new reality. Whereas Jason fought that. He's like, he still had a piece of his innocence still as a child to like. He didn't immediately get out of the car to stop the little boy from setting the fire, but he's like, it's a trick. He realized that something was off and that he had to do something.
Yeah.
And what he had to do was fall in line.
Oh. Guys, definition of strong female lead is agency,
top billing,
impacted by plot.
yeah.
Boom. I mean,
Adelaide.
the whole thing
Lupita
is Adelaide.
fucking knocked it out of the park.
I was trying to come up with an SFL moment, and I had a hard time because it really, I mean, yeah, the fighting, like a really cool one is her fighting herself and that kind of thing. And that is a definite SFL moment. But frankly, just her Adelaide above ground, like, and just really taking the charge for taking care of her entire family. Adelaide below ground, taking the charge to take care of her underground family and society. Like, all of it was just very female driven. They were she was the powerful one. I mean, on both sides.
Yeah, I like the Winston Duke character, in that he was disabled and unable to kind of like override her, which probably would have been his role had he not like been immediately injured and kind of taken out.
He tried to at one point. I remember she's like, "You can no longer make the decisions," or she did something like that.
Yeah,
and I was kind of like,
take your agency, and I really liked that. I thought that was great, and I liked the way that was set up. I think my strong female lead moment for Adelaide is when she handcuffs Red.
I know.
Red.
Who are they? Who are they?
Yeah. Red handcuffs Adelaide to the table and kind of like tells her little story. Because I didn't understand it until the very end. That piece I was thinking, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense with the handcuffing. So I was like, she was like, to me it was symbolically like, I'm going to handcuff you to this table so you can watch your world burn. As you handcuffed me to this bunk bed and my world ended, this is how yours will. In kind of a similar fashion. And I was like, I love a mastermind. I love the creativity.
And that was real Adelaide.
Yeah.
And that part is just like, I've said it, I'll say it again, what a mind fuck. Thinking of like little Adelaide going down there, and then, she's so young when this trauma occurs, but then somehow assimilating to the extent where I'm not sure that she knew she was a human at some point by the time she was above ground. The same way, like, the above ground Adelaide wasn't totally positive until the end that she was underground. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Because that scene where the parents are talking to the psychologist, I also really like that. Because it's like talking about, again, like, I think this is all about society, but like, the powers that be talking about society and not including, the quote unquote problem, or the other. And like, not including them in her in that conversation, and her not having the ability to speak for herself. Again, like, super amazing, Jordan.
And she's also really quiet, and doesn't talk a lot.
Doesn't talk a lot. And then she has to find a way to express herself, which was through dance, because she can't speak.
But even when she's older, like, she's not, the husband is talking and chattering and blah, 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 and she just kind of says short statements. And I thought maybe it was just, she was a woman, a few words. But then there was a scene in the beach where she's talking to Elizabeth Moss's character, and she says, something along the lines of, I'm not great with words or something. And then it just hit me then, going back over this stuff. It's like, because she didn't learn how to talk till she was, who knows when she actually started speaking. We're not even positive. Strong female lead to the max. And also Lupita made history because we posted this on our Instagram, but this was the highest amount of money made in a domestic release with a black female lead, which was badass. So not only is this breaking ground in terms of having, an almost all black cast in a horror movie, it broke records in terms of like an original horror and how much money pulled in. But Lupita, just as a female black lead, made history as well for being the lead in a movie that made, I don't know, I forget how much money it made.
I think it made like $70 million the first weekend.
But the women were just kick-ass. I mean, the women, all of them. And
I
the guys
really
loved
liked Elizabeth Moss's character. I thought she was like scene stealing, and then when she was like so crazily putting on that lipstick, I was like, my god. I didn't even know she was in this movie.
I didn't
Until
either.
got
And that's
into,
a
like,
really
theater.
good actress when she's in, you know, not even a third of the movie and like these tiny, tiny scenes, and she totally captivated me.
Yeah.
She is badass.
I like the daughter too. She didn't say much, but yeah, I thought the physicality that she brought to that role was great.
Oh my god, guys. What you think?
Yeah. What did you think? What themes did we miss? Nothing.
I mean, there were so many.
Yeah. If you know the circle thing, feel free to tell us.
Yeah. What? Oh,
Never mind. Hillary knows. We don't
I
need
have
you.
an answer. The circle, it was blue, but on top of it had a red and gold star. So the red is the red outfits they wore, and the gold was from the scissors, and it fit perfectly on top of the existing blue one. So they can just come in and take their place. And they're like, I guess they can just be switched. I had to Google it, people. Didn't come up with that on my own.
Isn't that the scariest part though? Is that like
But I had to
the
Google
only
it.
thing holding the society in place is the ability of everyone else to change it, like
or the ability of us to
maintain it.
to
Doesn't that
maintain
sound
and
disgusting?
ignore.
Yeah.
I mean, because ignorance allows
It's not ignorance, it's will. You know. We all know.
chosen ignorance.
Feigned ignorance.
Willful.
Yeah, willful.
I read something. The tethered are created by the same social order that protects the humans they terrorize. So the ultimate villain is society. Thanks for listening, guys, and find us at Strong Female Pod on Instagram.
Yes, and also tweet at us. Get at us. We're at SFL_Chicago on Twitter.
And you can find us on Facebook if you just look up Strong Female Lead. Bye-bye.
Bye.